with another installment of my home purge series for you, and I am looking at my home office right now, and I thought I would start with paper. I'm kind of following the KonMari method. If you're familiar with Marie Kondo and her very, very popular book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, she has an order that she suggests purging your house in. Now, I'm not following her advice strictly speaking. I am, taking inspiration from it for sure, especially with my clothing purge, which I pretty much followed her advice to the letter. But since then, I've just been kind of doing my own thing, but I like her idea of kind of splitting things up, not just by room, but by category. Now, I'm a by room kind of sorter. That's just how I work. So I started with my master bedroom, did my wardrobe, I did my beauty items, and now I've moved into, and my books, which I had half of in my bedroom and half of in my home office here. And so now, naturally, I've moved to the home office. And one of the things that's high on her list to do after books, I think it's after books, is paper. And that just seemed like the most natural next step to me after doing the books, was to go through paper. And I, Jennifer Ross, am a recovering paper hoarder. I admit it. I knew that I liked keeping paper things like that. I wasn't like totally oblivious, but it wasn't until I started going through things and realizing how much paper I was holding on to that I really had no reason to hold on to, that I realized how much of a hoarder I'd become about paper stuff. I've just been my entire life I've been very organized when it comes to financial documents and health documents and home documents, just keeping those for very long periods of time, like more than the suggested periods of time. In fact, I had files dating back to 2005 in my file drawers, excuse me, which, okay, that was a decade ago, and those were files from when we lived in a completely different place that I just really didn't need to hold on to anymore. So I kind of broke up my paper plan of action into two kind of major chunks, because of course there's the paperwork that I keep in my two big lateral file drawers next to my desk. I'm actually like sitting right in front of them. And then there's other paper items that are more sentimental that I have a tendency to hold on to, and that includes past calendars, food journals in general, and then memorabilia. Now, Marie Kondo suggests saving memorabilia for last and doing that separately. I actually didn't go through my paper memorabilia today because it's part of my closet, which is my next project, and I'm kind of nursing a back injury back to health, so I didn't want to do a lot of lifting of bins off shelves and things, but I thought I've already kind of made up my mind about what to do about the paper memorabilia, and I'll touch on that a little bit, but what my main focus was my file folders. So basically I had these two drawers, big lateral drawers, filled, stuffed to the brim with file folders, filled with paperwork. And I just started pulling through anything that I knew I had an online account or could create an online account where they had a backlog of my, bills and, whatever, statements online. That got tossed. And what I did is that I got two bags out. One I put shred on and one I put recycle, because some documents are sensitive that you need to shred. And others you can just toss in the recycling bin. You don't have to worry about that. And I just kind of went through and started pulling out folders that I knew were things that I could probably switch to email-only statements or bills, and also that I knew that I could have backlog on my online account. So I didn't really need it was like kind of redundant to keep the paper statements. And I ended up being able to take out more than half of my file folders from my top drawer, which is completely dedicated to what I call current files. So that includes everything from finance and, home care to health and like our cars and receipts for important appliances and, personal items and household items and, things that I felt like warranties I needed to hold on to and stuff like that. So anything that I could shred or recycle, but because it was an online possibility instead, I did that. And it was actually really, really easy. While I was doing that, while I was pulling out files, I just went online. As I took out a file folder, I went online, like say to my bank, and I signed up for paperless statements, so just email only, and I just checked to make sure that all of my back statements were available for viewing there in case I needed them for any reason. And once I kind of verified all that, I would, you know, sort that file folder into either recycle or shred. And then I did that with the next thing. So maybe it was like a credit card or a utility bill or something like that. So I went through each thing. It really wasn't as time consuming as I thought it would be, because with the internet, everything's pretty snappy. And for the most part, I was already signed up for online accounts. So I just had to like check the paperless or eco-friendly billing or statement deliveries, which is email only instead of paper. So not only is it saving me space in my house, but it's actually more eco-friendly because there's less waste of paper coming in the mail, which is a good thing as well. So that was super, super simple, straightforward process. Then I moved down to the bottom lateral file drawer, which has all of my back files. And this is stuff from, you know, previous to the current year. And like I said, it dated back to 2005, and I just tore through that. I put aside a lot to shred. I filled up 2 whole bags to shred. Where we live in our community, they offer periodically throughout the year like community shredding, where you can take large quantities of things to shred, or small if you don't have a shredder. We don't actually have a shredder, and it's kind of a lot to shred on just like a little shredder anyway. But you can, you know, it's a free service that my town offers. You can call your township and see if they offer a similar service, I'm sure. But there's a date coming up, and you know, in the next month, and I'm going to take those 2 bags to be shredded, and the rest I'm just going to put in my recycling bin, that I'm not, you know, worried about being sensitive information or anything. You just kind of have to use your common sense and what you're comfortable with when it comes to deciding what to shred and what to recycle. But really anything with any personal information on it, that's like your social security number or bank account numbers or any sort of account numbers that link back to financial institutions or health things. I mean, you have to decide for yourself, but that's kind of what I decided. And once again, I was able to kind of tear through more than half of that. I purged from the file drawer. So now I have 2 half-empty file drawers, and I think I'm probably going to condense them into just the 1 lateral drawer and use the other one for storage. But I'm going to kind of wait till I'm done with my purging of the office to do any sort of rearranging, reorganizing. But when all was said and done, this is how many file folders I took out. I mean, it is kind of crazy to think how much paper I was holding on to unnecessarily. And I don't feel bad that it took me this long to get to this point. I think, you know, things happen for a reason, and timing is kind of, you know, the way things work out in terms of timing, it worked out for me that I came to this realization now. It's because I was ready to accept it and do the process of purging and signing up for the online billing and statements, and I was just in the mode to do that. So I don't feel bad that I was like a previous paper hoarder, but I do not plan on going back to being one. So I'm going to put these down for a second. That's a lot of folders. Now for the second half of my paper purging, which I decided to lump my memorabilia into that, which, like I said, includes journals, calendars, and then actual memorabilia items from the past decade. Like seriously, 10 years of I've saved every little card I've gotten from, you know, loved ones. I've saved all of our, what's it called? Like theater tickets and programs, that's the word I was looking for, from all the shows we've been to. I have saved everything, and I don't really know what I was thinking in saving those things. Maybe I was thinking I would scrapbook them. I haven't scrapbooked in years. It's not that I don't enjoy it, it's just not something that I prioritize or make time for anymore, and even if I did, I'm not sure I would include that stuff in those scrapbooks anyway. So, I mean, I was just thinking about it recently when I've been in this home purge kind of vibe. I was like, why am I holding on to like 6 boxes of memorabilia, more maybe, like that I'm just never gonna put into a scrapbook? It's just not gonna happen. If it was really, really important to scrapbook, I would have done it already. I have decided that all of that's going to go. I am going to sort through it kind of quickly. Like I said, I'm kind of nurturing a tender back, so I'm kind of waiting until I'm feeling a little better. I'm going to do that next week when I go through my closet, because all of that stuff is in the closet anyway. But that's going to free up like basically a whole side of my closet once I purge all of that. Much easier thing for me to do today was to toss all of my calendars that I've saved since high school. I think I had all of my calendars since like sophomore year. Yeah, isn't that interesting? I used to like look through them, but I haven't in years, and I just can't justify saving them anymore. It just doesn't make any sense. So I went ahead and I recycled those. Same with my food journals and my gratitude journals. I'm never gonna look back in my food or gratitude journals. Those are really just exercises for my health, either mental or physical or both, spiritual, you know, as well. I've never looked back through one of my gratitude journals, and I've been doing that practice for, I think, 6 years now. And there's just no reason to save those. And now that I know that I'm not going to save them, I'm thinking I'm going to make more of like a year-end ritual with it, where maybe I like burn my gratitude journal from the previous year as like a way of, you know, like letting go of the new year, or the old year, and welcoming in the new. I don't know, that sounded really cheesy once I said it out loud, but I don't know. I just don't feel the need to save those. Now, whereas with my personal like diary journals, those I actually have made a point to keep. I have journals dating back to when I was, think, like 6 or 7 years old, and I actually do look through those from time to time, and they are kind of treasured parts of my, they're treasures to me. So I think you just have to decide what you realistically want having space in your house. Like, what is a treasure enough to have a place in your home? And food journals from 10 years ago were not on that list for me. They may be for somebody else, but you just have to kind of work out what for you makes sense. And it's not going to be the same for everyone. I don't believe in comparing what one values to what someone else values, because personal value is completely subjective. It is totally personal and individual. And you might really enjoy holding on to your paper statements still, and that might still really work for you. It worked for me for a long time, but I think the important part of kind of embracing change is understanding when it feels right to you, and not just because you feel like you have to, because it's what others think you should do or what you think others think you should do. I think you just have to really tune in to what, I mean, this sounds so cheesy, but to what your heart is telling you to do. Your gut instinct, your gut feelings about things. I really think that applies to anything and everything, you know, wherever it can. But, you know, belongings are personal. That's why they're called personal belongings. And figuring out, like, navigating what to keep and how to store it and all of that jazz, it's a personal pursuit, but I think it is fun to share our experiences with each other, because I know, at least for me, I find it very inspirational and motivational to hear what other people do, because it can kind of, you know, start me thinking and give a little spark of an idea for maybe a totally different direction. But I think that's why I choose to share my purging process with you, because, you know, I hope that maybe it inspires you to do something. Maybe not purge your paper collection, but I don't know, maybe something. And if you do feel inspired by this video, I would really love to know. Please leave me a comment and let me know. I'd also love to know how you manage paper, if you are a paper hoarder in recovery, or still going strong paper hoarder. I think it's fun to share. I will be back next week to share my craft closet clean out with you. That is like the other really big project in this room. I'm also having the room repainted, so next time you see this room, it's going to be a much lighter color, and hopefully it'll brighten things up for you guys when I'm filming in here and just kind of give a different vibe in general. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye!